one day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
YouTube, and welcome to episode 20 of my Doctor Who action figure reviews, and the first part of Firsts and Lasts. This is basically going to be a 2 or 3 part review, depending on how many figures I end up going through. Basically focusing on the start of the Doctor's adventures, and what could possibly be the end of the Doctor's adventures with Time of the Doctor. Unless we have some very clever writing from Stephen Moffat, which no doubt after the anniversary we will get. So in today's episode we are looking at the Unearthly Child First Doctor and TARDIS set that was released quite a while back. I believe it was in 2008, 2009, and it was an exclusive release. I think it was Underground Toys exclusive. I'm not quite sure. This was bought from Forbidden Planet the other day. They had 2 on sale at a reduced price. Which is quite lucky because I've been after all the Classic Tardises for a while, and I absolutely love this set, to be honest. It's a lovely TARDIS, and it's another variant of the First Doctor which I didn't own, so it's very nice to have these 2. So I'll begin this review by looking at the First Doctor from Unearthly Child, and I shall start the review by looking at the articulation of the figure. The articulation on the First Doctor is as follows. I'll just put his cane down. The arms can't do a 360 because they are hindered by the cloak and the scarf that he is wearing. They can go up and down a little bit, but not too much movement there. He does have bicep articulation. Again, it can't do a 360. Well, it might do, but it will be very difficult. Yeah, it may snap off if you try to do a 360, so don't do that. And you've got 360 in his wrists. Again, with these Doctors wearing frock coats, be careful as the hand may pop out like it did on my Patrick Troughton. The head can turn. It can't really do a 360 as it is hindered by both his wig and scarf and cloak. And his legs go forward and backward, not really hindered too much at all by the coat sculpt, so which is quite good. There is thigh articulation. It's very stiff as this is a new, well, it's technically a new figure since it's only just been bought, and this is the first time it's been used. And the knees can bend as well, but there is no ankle articulation on this figure, which is to be expected. So the detail of this figure. This is a very nice William Hartnell. This is William Hartnell as he appeared in Unearthly Child Part 1 and the pilot. As you can see, it's slightly different to other releases of William Hartnell. Other releases of William Hartnell have just had the cravat and the coat open, showing the waistcoat, and with or without these checkered trousers. But this variant is the one that's wearing the cloak and the striped scarf in Totter's yard when Barbara and Ian first go looking for Susan, and it's a very accurate figure. It really captures the look quite well. I'll begin by looking at the head sculpt. The likeness of William Hartnell is brilliant. It looks just like him. Yet again, another excellent sculpt. I actually think it looks more like William Hartnell than the initial William Hartnells they released with the Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek and the one in the 11 Doctors set. So this is a very nice face sculpt. You can see all the lines on his forehead and all the wrinkles of his skin. His eyes look very, very good, and he's got those very fair eyebrows kind of like the Tom Baker figure. And the expression, I'll just move it back so you can see better. The expression's very good as well, as it does capture the very severe, kind of grumpy look, the crotchety old man that he is in the beginning episode, and it's very, very nice. The hair is also painted very nicely. Well, I say hair, his wig. It's again painted in the white with the washes over it to highlight the texture of the hair, which is very, very nice. Just bring that in. It's all very, very good. The hat that he wears is also very, very good. This is the hat that he wears in that episode. It's got a very close copy of the texture. It's actually probably spot on to how it is in the show. So it looks very, very nice. You've got the crease at the top. The only problem with this release, particularly mine, is that the hat is not fully glued down, or it's been glued down too soon, because there actually is a gap in the between the head and the hat, and you can see underneath that the hat is an extension. The head carries on a little bit above where it should do. The hat should be coming down to here, but it doesn't. So there is an extra bit of William Hartnell's head, and it looks quite unusual, like one of the eggheads. And the fact that it's painted kind of helps it a little bit, because in the dark you can't really notice it like that, but it is noticeable in hand. But I don't mind that, I'll give it a free pass. The scarf and cloak are sculpted very nicely. The scarf is part of the sculpt of the cloak. It's sculpted on here. You've got the little tassels at the back, you've got the black stripes, and it's in the pale off-white colour. And at the front it's kind of like the Tom Baker scarf, where this bit is a part glued on up here and is a piece of rubber that moves freely, and you can pose him with it tucked in as he did in the episode. And the cloak has got various creases all over it. It's very, very nice. It's made of PVC, so it's quite malleable. It's not like the John Pertwee cloak. It's actually it's fairly soft. You can see that, move it. It's one solid piece. There is a bit of a manufacturing error in mine, as there are glue spills everywhere and indentations, as you can quite clearly see on this arm, but I don't mind that too much. I am just glad to have this figure. And the coat is basically the same as on the other William Hartnells, the only major difference this time being that the coat is closed, and therefore you can't see the waistcoat. This is just one big piece of rubber, all sculpted, all done in black, very, very nice. You can see the buttons down one side, and there are two buttons on show on the other side here. I don't know where the other buttons are, why they aren't shown, I have no idea, unless they're the ones that have been fastened. But never mind about that. The pockets are sculpted on very nicely. You've got the lines, the outlines highlighted. You can see the lapels just underneath his scarf. They do actually carry on underneath the cloak and scarf, which is very, very good. And he's got the dark blue cravat that he wore in that episode, but obviously it was in black and white, so we didn't know that at first. And he's wearing his checkered trousers, the square checkered trousers in the off-white colour, and the grey lines that he wears in that episode. Same as on the Doctor from the Invasion Earth 2-pack exclusive. And his shoes are just sculpted very nicely. They have got creases, and they've got the laces sculpted on as well, and they're done in a very dull matte brown. It's like a black with a matte brown wash over it. So that's the detail on the figure. Very, very nice figure. It's a shame about the error in the head, but it's something I can live with. And of course this Doctor does come with some accessories, which I will go into now. The first Doctor comes with his cane that he's famous for having. He shouldn't really have this cane, because he got this in Marco Polo, and obviously this is the first episode of Doctor Who, The Unearthly Child, so he shouldn't really have this walking stick with this figure. But this was released twice. It was released once on its own as an exclusive, and then it was released again with his TARDIS, and both came with the cane. So I don't mind it. It's nice that he's got a little accessory. to have with him, and he just holds that like that, pretty standard like the other William Hartnells. It's very nice. It's very rubbery and it's moulded in a dark matte brown. And he also comes with another accessory, which is the skull from the Cave of Skulls from the episode. Now, I'm not sure whether this represents the skull in the episode. I don't remember it being one whole skull. I remember it being partially broken, but I could be wrong. And this is sculpted very, very nicely. You've got all the you've got cracks in the skull, all the texture to it. The eye sockets look pretty cool and dark as if they carry on, and so does the nose. The teeth are sculpted very nicely, and there's a dirty grey wash over this area, which is all very, very good. And they've really put a lot of detail into this. It's like a black wash with a grey wash over it, and underneath it's fairly smooth, but they carried on the detail a little bit. As you can see, there is a little hole in here, and I've worked out what this is for. I think you just slot it on there, and it kind of, if you're very careful, you can hold it on his walking cane. And if you just put it in front of his face, if you're careful, you can put it in front of his face, and there we go. It's like Tom Baker with the K9 head scaring the people of Alzarius. So it's a nice little accessory, a bit unusual, but it's a nice skull, and it's a nice little accessory to have with it, as there aren't many others they could put with this set. So overall, the First Doctor and his accessories, very, very nice, welcome figure. I'm glad to finally have this variant, and if you want this figure, definitely try and track it down. It is released singularly, but it'd probably be worth it to get it in this set, because you do also get a TARDIS, which is what I shall move on to review now. This TARDIS is the third Classic Tardis that was released. This is the William Hartnell box, the traditional William Hartnell box that he had at the very beginning. This is essentially the Sylvester McCoy box, which I reviewed in the Light at the End review, but it's had a repaint and a few extra things added to it. In terms of sound effects, there aren't any batteries in this one yet. I haven't put any in, but basically you just turn it on, lift it off, and it does the dematerialization sound, the same sound as on the Tom Baker and Sylvester McCoy box. Put it down and it will do the materialization sound as well, and the lamp, of course, will light up with it. So now I'll go on to the detail of the box. The sculpt is exactly the same. It's the Sylvester McCoy sculpt. They all use the same main body, both the Sylvester McCoy and Tom Baker box, and this is no exception. However, this does create a few inaccuracies with the sculpt of this TARDIS. The inaccuracies are as follows. If I just tilt the camera, the lamp should not be the circular lamp as featured on the McCoy box. This should be a square lamp. But they haven't done this, they haven't changed it, which is a shame, as the roof did change on the Tom Baker box, so it could have changed on this one. The roof is almost correct in terms of having two stacks. If I just raise this a little bit, in terms of having two stacks on the top, that's correct. However, it shouldn't be slanted like this. The roof should be flat and a double stack roof, and the stack should be slightly thicker, but that's okay. It looks okay. The window frames in white, now painted in white rather than the blue, are very, very nice, and it looks like the windows are glowing. Kind of puts me in mind of the Peter Cushing TARDIS a little bit. But they should have here just an extra little bit of white wood going across the bottom of the window frames, as the William Hartnell box had at that time, but that's not there, but I can live with that, and that's the same on all four sides. The lock is painted in gold, and I'm not sure where it should be, but that should be on the other door, and that should be a slightly bigger lock, and there shouldn't be a handle on this door either, but since this is the McCoy box and they're reusing the same parts, that's not going to change too much. The door opens the same way. It's a spring switch, This cubby where the phone is the one from the Tom Baker box, therefore there's no phone in here, and therefore it doesn't open, so that can open all the way. No insert on the inside because there's none in the story, which is good, and to close you just press that button. And other than that, that's basically the inaccuracies. The box states that this is the TARDIS from Unearthly Child, which is kind of true, but it's also a mixture of the one that they used in the pilot. And what makes this the one from the pilot is that it's got this white frame around the door sign, which was repainted when they filmed the episode again. But you can see on some clips that it is still painted white, as they couldn't get back to film in Ealing. But I don't mind. It is very strong, but I don't mind it too much. It's still a very, very nice TARDIS. It's only a minor feature. And the wording is written as respond to urgent calls instead of respond to all calls on the box. But the thing that I quite like about this TARDIS is the paint job. Now, looking at it closely, you can see underneath little bits of the Sylvester McCoy paint colour scheme with the TARDIS, the lighter blue, which already highlighted the sculpts very, very well. But what they've done here is they've painted over it with the darker TARDIS colour of the William Hartnell era, and it's given it a fantastic effect. It looks even more textured and detailed than previously. I mean, look at that. You can see all the details on camera just there, and it looks very, very nice. It looks old and battered like it did in the initial story. And one extra little feature they've done is, this is from the Unearthly Child rather than the pilot, around the bottom you can see all the dirt and mud on the bottom of the TARDIS, which gives it that little bit extra of authenticity. The only thing that bugs me is having the speaker and the screw at the back, but since people don't display them facing backwards, I can live with that. And the dirt carries on there. So that's very, very nice. I like the paint job on this box. It's very, very good. If I just tilt the roof forward, again, the paint job has massively helped highlight the detail on this roof as well. It's very, very nice. And I do actually prefer this to the Matt Smith version of the TARDIS now that I've got it. As like I said in my previous Day of the Doctor review, the Matt Smith box just looks too plastic. It looks like it is a manufactured toy rather than an authentic miniaturized TARDIS. And the final thing to note is that this TARDIS indeed has the St. John's Ambulance sign. This has been either printed or painted on. I would zoom in, but this camera is very, very blurry. I can't get it to focus. But it is there, and it's very nice. It's printed on this Sculpt. The Matt Smith one is, I believe, a sticker on a slightly raised piece. I don't mind it, and I'm glad that the new TARDIS now reflects this one, as this is a very, very nice TARDIS. So that is basically everything about this TARDIS. And just to give you an idea of what this TARDIS and William Hartnell set will look like in the black and white as it was originally broadcast, I will once again call on the powers that be, and voila, there you go. And it looks fantastic even in monochrome colours. So actually thinking about it, I wonder why they didn't do another super exclusive black and white version of this TARDIS and Doctor. I mean, it's not that big an issue, but that would have been a nice little variation, a black and white one. But as you can see, it looks very impressive, and the TARDIS looks brilliant. This TARDIS is now probably my favourite police box, the favourite TARDIS out of the classics. I mean, it is the McCoy box, but I like the paint scheme a lot more than on the McCoy box. It looks very, very nice. So, thank you for watching this review, guys. If you'd like to buy this set, you will have to look online or look in your local Forbidden Planet store and hope they get some in. Mine only had 2 left. The first one sold the moment I walked in, and I wasn't going to pass up on the possibility that the other one would go, so I bought it and got the 4th Doctor one at the same time. It will be either £35 unless the price is reduced, in which it will be £25. Mine cost me £25 at Forbidden Planet. So if you're local, go to Forbidden Planet Hanley. Or you can look on Underground Toys. I don't know whether it's on there. It is an exclusive, so it may just be Forbidden Planet. Or you can look on eBay. It will probably be quite expensive on eBay, as this was a few years ago, and it is an exclusive, and it's a Classic Tardis. The Classic Tardises go for a lot of money. Other than that, if you want to get the William Hartnell but you don't want the TARDIS, though why you wouldn't, I don't know, then you can get him as an exclusive from, was it San Diego Comic Con, I believe, or Underground Toys, and you'll get this variant of William Hartnell with the cane and the skull, but the TARDIS is an added bonus, so you're better off just getting this version, really. If you'd like to know more about this set, go and check out Batman March's blog, or go on to Batman March's YouTube channel and watch his First Doctor and TARDIS review, as I'm sure he has some excellent information on there. And that's basically it. So thank you for watching, guys. Please like this video and subscribe, and join me next time in the second part of Firsts and Lasts, when we will be looking at the 11th Doctor and his sound effects TARDIS, and a few other figures relevant to the upcoming Christmas special, Time of the Doctor. The fall of the 11th is upon us, so it's time to give the 11th Doctor a send-off, and this will probably be my last ever 11th Doctor review. So, thank you for watching this review, guys, and I shall see you in my next episode.